That's good. Okay, in this lecture, we will study, the mass of neutral pine. Earlier, we had studied the masses of, uh, positive pine and negative pine, right? And this method is going to be very important and as well as, very interesting. So what we do in this method, we bombard protons with negative pion. Protons are bombarded with negative pions, right? And this interaction takes place in S state. You know what is S state, right? S state means proton and negative pion, they are at rest with respect to each other, right? And what happens that when this interaction takes place, a neutron and a neutral pion is produced, right? And since, neutral pion is also unstable particle, so it decays further to 2 gamma rays, right? As soon as you produce neutral pion from the interaction of proton with negative pion, it decays to 2 gamma rays, right? And at the same time, pion and proton, they can also produce neutron and gamma rays. See, interaction is same, but you get two types of product. There are two channels, right? In one process, neutrons and neutral pion is produced. In second interaction, neutron and gamma rays are produced. Now you might be wondering that how it is possible. See, as I have already told you that once you are in physics department, you have a couple of ways to get down. You have three ways, three stairs, right? You get to get down. Similarly, particles can, interact to produce different, products, right? So if you have 100 interactions of proton and negative ion, maybe out of 100, 60 go with, with this interaction, N and neutral pion, or 40 may go, with, neutron and gamma ray. Got it, Pratik? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So how to use this method to find the mass of neutral pion? We use this interaction. From this interaction, we can find the mass of the neutral pion. How is it possible? So what happens in this interaction? We put scintillator counters around this interaction. Suppose interaction is taking place here, right? And we put two scintillator counters around this arrangement. Suppose negative pion bombards with proton and neutron and neutral pions are produced, and these neutral pions further decays to gamma rays, right? So this is what happening. And when these gamma rays are, produced, they move like this, right? One gamma ray is, detected in first scintillator counter, and second gamma ray is detected in second scintillator counter, right? And we have seen that when gamma rays are produced, they make a kind of spectrum. You have already seen this kind of spectrum in nuclear physics lab, where we were using different gamma ray sources. And, we have got two peaks here from this experiment. This peak of gamma ray is because of second interaction. This one, when a neutron and gamma ray is produced, right? And second, there is a broad spectrum, this one. There is a broad spectrum, this one, right? It is because of this interaction. Neutral pion when it decays to 2 gamma rays, right? Now, question is that why we get spectrum here, well, broad spectrum here. Though if you know neutral pion is at rest, when it decays, it will emit 1 gamma ray in this direction, second gamma ray in this direction, right? and both of the gamma rays will have same energy because it is a decay and gamma rays are similar. So energy of the both gamma rays should be similar. And if the energy is similar, then instead of getting this band, we must get a peak here. It must be a peak here, right? But why we are getting spectrum here? Is it clear to all that what we expect a peak here, but we are getting a broad spectrum. So what's the reason? The reason is that since when neutral pion is produced in this interaction, it is not stationary. It moves, in some direction. So if a pion is moving in some direction, and when it will emit a gamma ray, one gamma ray may go in this direction and second gamma ray will go in this direction. Now, since gamma ray is moving, neutral pion is moving, it will have also some kinetic energy. Apart from its rest mass energy, it will have some kinetic energy. And because of conservation of kinetic energy, one gamma ray may get different energy, second gamma ray may have different energy. So their energy will not be same because of Doppler effect. You know what is a Doppler effect? Suppose neutral pion is moving in this direction, right? And at this point, neutral pion emit one gamma ray direction in this direction and second gamma ray in this direction. So this, pion is moving in this direction and one gamma ray is moving in the same direction. Second gamma ray is moving in the opposite direction. So when gamma ray is moving in the same direction, it is called forward gamma ray. And when pion is moving forward and second gamma ray is moving, in the opposite direction, it will be called backward gamma ray. Right? So because of Doppler effect, I'm not going into the Doppler effect. You know very well what a Doppler effect is, you have studied this effect on, sounds and the velocity of light. So but we will use formula here. So because of Doppler effect, these gamma rays will not have same frequencies. You know what happens in Doppler effect? In Doppler effect, the frequency and wavelengths of particles, change. And here the frequency of gamma ray is going to change because of Doppler effect. We have one, source, that is pion, and it is emitting, photons. So if you you should study Doppler effect if you don't have studied so far. So because of Doppler effect, one gamma ray will have different energy, second gamma ray will have different energy. So that's why we get a broad spectrum, right? There's not a peak, it's a broad spectrum. Is it clear to all, Bete? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now how to find mass from this, broad spectrum? Let us see. Let me use, Doppler effect. When photon is moving, pion is moving, it will have two energies. One, its rest mass energy. Second, its kinetic energy. And you also know that according to Einstein's relation, this can be written as, let me use this naught by pi. This is rest mass energy of pion, right? And according to relativistic effect, this total energy can be written as mc square, where m is nothing. It is, according to relativistic effect, m pi over 1 minus v square over c square. Is it clear, Bete?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, since pion is moving, so its now total energy is mc square. Now, energy is always conserved, and since pion is decaying to two gamma rays, and energy of one gamma ray, one of them is forward gamma ray. Second is backward gamma ray. Now you know what is a forward gamma ray. Forward gamma ray means a gamma ray which is moving in the same direction in which pion is moving. And second gamma ray is which is moving in the backward direction. It means opposite to the direction of the movement of pion. So therefore their frequencies will be different. And if their frequencies are different, their energies are going to be different. So let me write the energy of forward gamma ray like this. H nu, you know, this is the energy of gamma ray, right? Plus H nu backward. Right? Is it clear, Bete?
Yes, sir.
And we also know that forward gamma ray will have maximum, you know, frequency, and backward gamma ray will have maximum minimum frequency. So it can be also written as H nu maximum plus H nu minimum. And this can be written as E maximum. This is the energy of gamma ray which is moving forward, and this is E minimum. Right? So what relation we got? MC square is equal to E maximum plus E minimum. Yeah. What this M is? This is M pi C square over C square and square root. We want to find this quantity, mass of the pion, right? And this is equal to E maximum, right? And E maximum is what? You know, it is H nu maximum plus H nu minimum. Now, according to Doppler effect, we know that according to Doppler effect, frequency is given by frequency when the particles are, you know, when the source is stationary. This is the frequency when the source is moving. This is the frequency if the source is, you know, stationary, into if it is forward moving, then it is given by V plus C over V minus C. So therefore, since it is forward moving, so we can write it as maximum, and V minimum means backward moving. It will be V naught. Can you tell me what would be the relation? If you remember the Doppler effect, what would be here? You should study Doppler effect. It will be V minus C over V plus C. Got it, Bete? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Only one voice.
Yes, sir.
राइट मैं बेटे आप डॉपलर इफेक्ट पर नहीं टाइम स्पेंड करूंगा उस राइट आप स्टडी कर लेना डॉपलर इफेक्ट क्या है बहुत ही मतलब इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट है आपने छोटी क्लासेस में पढ़ा भी होगा दोबारा पढ़ सकते हो अगर ये आपको रिलेशन क्लियर नहीं है ठीक है ना सो पुटिंग दिस यू नो वैल्यूज इन दिस रिलेशन आप इस रिलेशन में वैल्यूज पुट कर दो ठीक है मैं इसकी डिटेल्स आप मतलब सारा कुछ मैंने आपको कर दिया आपने क्या करना है m pi over 1 minus v square over c square this will be equal to you know h v maximum that is frequency maximum a वाला relation use कर लो it will be nu v plus C over V minus C plus H nu V minus C over V plus C ठीक है और इसके बाद आप इनको स्क्वायर कर लो आप बोथ साइड्स पे आफ्टर स्क्वेयरिंग वी विल गेट यू नो m pi square C4 over 1 minus V square C square we have taken square So square root will be removed. Here we will get h square nu square into v plus v plus c over v minus c, right? And then you will get plus h square nu square v minus c over v plus c. And since there are two terms on right hand side, so plus twice of first term into second term, that is h square nu square. If you multiply these squares, you will get opposite of each other because they are opposite to each other, so it will be 1 only, right? Got it, bete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so अब मैंने आपको सारा फॉर्मेशन दे दिया फॉर्मूले की, ठीक है? So from here you will prove that m naught c square is equal to 2 twice of square root of E maximum into E minimum. इस रिलेशन से आपने फाइंड आउट करना है. दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू लीव ऑन यू.
Okay.
ई मैक्सिमम और ई मिनिमम की आपको मैंने ऑलरेडी वैल्यू बता दी है, ठीक है ना? दिस इज एच न्यू मैक्सिमम, इसको हम ई मैक्सिमम बोलते हैं, और ई मिनिमम क्या है? एच न्यू मिनिमम. और इनकी मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम का रिलेशन ये वाले हैं, ठीक है ना? सो ये आपके पास नोट कर लो आप इसको बेटे. कर रहे हो या नहीं नोट कर रहे हो?
कर लिया सर.
ओके, सो मैं सभी से कल पूछूंगा बेटे. सो यू हैव टू प्रूव दिस वन. बहुत ही सिंपल है यहां से, राइट? सो व्हाट वी गेट, mass of pion into c square is equal to 2 into E minimum and E maximum. This is what we have got after applying Doppler's effect, right? So now how we can find mass, this quantity? You just measure E minimum and E maximum from the spectrum. We have this spectrum, right? We have two energy. This one is, minimum, where from the spectrum, this broad spectrum starts, and E maximum where this broad spectrum ends. So it is starting from 50. So it means E minimum is 50 megaelectron volt, and E maximum is equal to 90 megaelectron volt. So if you put these values, you will see that mass of neutral pion comes to be 134.98 megaelectron volt divided by c square. Maybe a value will be different because we are just taking approximate values 50 and 90. It could be 90.5 or 50.6, but we are taking approximate values, and the figure, that answer will be very close to this one, right? 134.98. So this is how we find the mass of neutral pion. Any question in that, Vite?
No sir.
बेटे देखिए, बहुत ही है तो बहुत ही सिंपल एक्सपेरिमेंट है. इवन यू कैन, इफ यू हैव न्यूट्रल पाइन्स इन योर लैब, you can perform this experiment using your spectrometers as well. And from even these small experiments have earned to some physicists Nobel prizes. ऐसे एक्सपेरिमेंट करके नोबेल प्राइज मिले हुए हैं. अब आप लगेगा कि ये तो बहुत ही सिंपल एक्सपेरिमेंट था, है ना? लेकिन ये देखो कि इसको पहले सोचना, दैट्स द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग. किसी चीज को इमेजिन करना, दैट्स द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट राइट थिंग. और उसके बाद तो कोई भी कर लेगा. आइडिया हमें मिल जाए तो हम तो कर ही लेंगे ना, लेकिन उसको सोचना किसने है? दैट इज द वर्क ऑफ ग्रेट फिजिसिस्ट. गॉट इट बेटे?
Yes sir.
Okay, so next we will study some decay modes of pions, how pions decay, right? बिकॉज पायन्स आर अनस्टेबल पार्टिकल्स। एक डिके मोड तो हमने देख ही लिया न्यूट्रल पायन का कि 2 गामा रेज में वो डिके कर रहा है, ठीक है ना।
Yes.
लेकिन
Yes.
बाकी मोड्स कौन कौन से हैं? पहले वी विल स्टडी द डिके मोड्स ऑफ पॉजिटिव पाइन. What positive pion decays to? It decays to a mu positive and neutrino of muon, right? And its branching ratio is 99.9877%. Now, what is a branching ratio is? Branching ratio means if you have taken 100 pions, the number is 100. Out of 100, those 100 pions, 99.9877 pions will decay to mu positive and neutrino. अब पॉइंट का मतलब यहाँ क्या है? अगर इसका मतलब है कि अगर आप 1 लाख ले लो, ठीक है ना, या 10 लाख ले लो, 10 लाख आपने पॉइंट्स ले लिए, उनमें से 9,99,877 पॉइंट्स वो ऐसे ही डिके करेंगे। बाकी कितने बच गए? ओनली 133 23। 10 लाख में से 9,99,877 तो ऐसे डिके करेंगे, और rest of the 123 they will decay through these modes. ऐसे भी डिके कर सकता है पॉजिटिव पाइन, पॉजिटिव पाइन पॉजिट्रॉन में भी डिके कर सकता है। और इसमें आप ब्रांचिंग रेशियो देखिए कितनी कम है, 123 into 10 to the power minus 4%। एक और डिके मोड है इसका, म्यू पॉजिटिव और मियोनिटिनो के अलावा साथ में गामा रे भी प्रोड्यूस हो सकती है। तो इसकी ब्रांचिंग रेशियो 2 into 10 to the power minus 4% है, ठीक है ना। सो ये ब्रांचिंग रेशियो बहुत कम है। सबसे फेवरेबल मोड कौन सा हुआ फिर? ये वाला पॉजिटिव पाइन म्यू पॉजिटिव और नियॉन न्यूट्रिनो में कन्वर्ट ज्यादातर होता है। सो यही मोड हमने यूज किया था इसका मास फाइंड आउट करने के लिए। अगर आपको याद है किनेमैटिक्स मेथड अप्लाई किया था ना हमने, याद है बेटे?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, यही मोड हमने यूज किया था, ठीक है ना। सो दिस इज द मोस्ट फेवरेबल मोड, डिके मोड ऑफ पॉजिटिव पाइन। और सिमिलर मोड्स आर ऑफ नेगेटिव पाइन। हमने सिर्फ जहां भी है वहां नेगेटिव कर देना है हर चीज को। अगर न्यूट्रिनो है तो उसको एंटी न्यूट्रिनो कर देना है, बाकी सारा कुछ सेम है, आप देख सकते हो, ठीक है ना। सो ये नेगेटिव मोड, और ब्रांचिंग रेशियोज भी सेम ही है नेगेटिव मोड। It is very easy to remember. If you remember the decay modes of positive pion, you can remember the decay modes of negative pion. Got it, bete?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. अब न्यूट्रल पाइन का तो अभी मोड हमने यूज ही किया उसका मास फाइंड आउट करने के लिए, ये दिस वन। Let me know, is it electromagnetic interaction or it's a weak decay? Yes, tell me bete.
Electromagnetic.
इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक, और कोई आंसर? हाँ जी बेटे, एक ही स्टूडेंट ने बताया। ये इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक इंटरेक्शन होगी या वीक इंटरेक्शन होगी? हाँ जी मिताली, इज मिताली दे?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, ये कौन सा डिके होगा?
So electromagnetic.
हाँ, फिर मैं पहले भी पूछ रहा था, तो आंसर क्यों नहीं दिया?
सर मुझे थोड़ा डाउट था कि डिके मोड भी है तो वीक ना हो।
हाँ जी ईशा, कौन सा डिके मोड है ये?
so electromagnetic.
पहले क्यों नहीं बोला? क्यों इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक है?
Sir,
So big.
photons की वजह से
Because
सर ये सारी की सारी क्योंकि एक तो पहले तो ये
सब-
बात है, इसमें गामा है, ठीक है ना। दूसरी ये चीज है, ये सारे के सारे लॉज भी कर रहे हैं, मतलब इंटरेक्शन भी हो रही है, और इसमें गामा की वो है, गामा
एक ही
इसमें है,
चीज है, इसमें आप बस
एनिहिलेशन
गामा
हो रहा
रेज
है
आ गए,
गामा का।
गामा रेज आ गए, हाँ तो फिर
तो
इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक।
फोटोन्स
हाँ
है, तो
दूसरी,
फिर इसीलिए वो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक।
हाँ फोटॉन्स इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक है। हाँ दूसरा आप इस पर लॉज भी चेक कर सकते हो,
ये इसमें
आइसोस्पिन भी
लॉस भी
इसमें,
लगते हैं सारे के सारे।
हाँ आइसोस्पिन का थर्ड कंपोनेंट भी कंजर्व है इसमें,
यस
और इसमें चार्ज कंजुगेशन भी अप्लाई कर सकते हो इस पे, ठीक है ना, तो वो भी कंजर्व, सो दैट्स व्हाई वी कैन से दैट इट्स इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक इंटरेक्शन। और सी इट्स ब्रांचिंग रेशियो, its branching ratio is 98.798. What does this mean? You can understand it very easily that if you have, 100 neutral pions, approximately 99 pions will decay through this interaction. बहुत ही strong mode है, बहुत ही favorable mode है. Neutral pion favor कर रहा है कि मैं दो gamma rays में convert हूँ. What are the other decay modes which are very, less probable? One of them is, this one, positron and electron with gamma ray, right? और इसमें ब्रांचिंग रेशियो आप देख सकते हो 198%, राइट? बहुत ही वीक, मतलब वीक, आई मीन इट्स नॉट वीक, वीक इंटरेक्शन नहीं कह सकते, इट इज इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एज वेल, बट ये बहुत ही कम होती है। एक और भी इसका डिके मोड है, न्यूट्रल पाइन ऐसे भी कन्वर्ट होता है, ये भी एक इसका मोड है, लेकिन ये भी बहुत ही कम होता है, 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन और 2 पॉजिट्रॉन प्रोड्यूस हो जाते हैं, ठीक है, ये भी इसका एक डिके मोड है, लेकिन ये इसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी भी बहुत कम होती है। गॉट इट बेटे?
यस सर।
sir.
ओके, सो इसके बाद नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल इज अबाउट हाउ टू मेजर द मीन लाइफ ऑफ चार्ज पाइंस, राइट? सो ये भी कुछ सिमिलर है जैसे हमने पहले किया था नियॉन के केस में। सो व्हाट वी डू इन दिस केस, मैं ब्रीफ में आपको बता देता हूँ। वी टेक, चार्ज पॉइंट का मेजर करें, यहाँ पर चार्ज पॉइंट होंगे, या तो पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स होंगे या नेगेटिव पॉइंट्स होंगे, ठीक है ना, एंड वी फोकस देम यूजिंग सम मैग्नेटिक फील्ड्स ऑन टू a first counter. It can count, positive pions, right? Stivline materials में use करते हैं, ठीक है? So it detects pions. Second detector also detects pions. Third detectors also detects pions. And all these 3 detectors, they work in coincidence. What does this mean by coincidence? We have already explained this one, that only that pion will be recognized which have passed through all of these, counters. There could be pions which can, pass through C1 but stops here before C2, and this pion is not going to be detected by C2. Or it could be the possibility that a pion, passes through first 2 detectors and decays before C3, right? And it is not going to pass through, C3, right? So what is the meaning of working of C1, C2, C3 in coincidence? It means only that, pion will be detected which passes through all these, 3 detectors at once. फिर ये काउंट करेगा, फिर हमारे पास रीडिंग आएगी। You have the scintillator counter in your lab, बेटे. So whenever a gamma ray passes, in the scintillator material, you get 1, 2, 3 on the digital panel. But here, these 3 detectors are working in coincidence. Therefore, you will get digit on your panel only when that point passes through all these 3 points. So that's the meaning of coincidence, right? And we place another detector C4 at some distance from these 3 detectors. And this detector is variable. We can, bring it closer to C3, or we can take it away from C3. So this length is variable. This length is variable. And let us say this length is L. This length is variable. Now, how to use this method to find the mean life of pions? Suppose when, pion is detected at this place, right? And, it gives us the time T1. And when it is detected at, C4, it gives us time T4 or T2, right? So it means the time taken by pion traveling from C3 to C4 will be T2 minus T1, right? और ये मेजर कैसे कर सकते हैं? अगर हम when pion starts from C3 and enter C4, if we measure the length and divide it by, the velocity of the pion, right? We can measure this time, right? And how we apply this formula, since not all of the pions are going to, going to travel the same length, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि जितने भी पाइन C3 के यहाँ से ट्रैवल करेंगे वो C4 तक पहुंचेंगे। हो सकता है कुछ पाइंस यहाँ तक डिके कर जाएं, हो सकता है कुछ पाइंस यहाँ पर डिके कर जाएं। और आपको पता है कि when particles decay, they decay exponentially. Their law is exponential, and that law is given by n is equal to n naught e the power minus lambda t, right? And you also know that lambda, which is decay constant, it is 1 over tau, where tau is the mean life of the particle, which we have to measure. ये आपको याद है बेटे या नहीं?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Radioactivity
Yes,
law,
sir.
right? So you have to measure time. If you measure time and you know the number of n naught and n, you can find lambda. And if you know the lambda, you can find the mean life. Now, n naught, what is n naught? N naught is the number of, particles entering C3. वो आपको काउंटर ये कोइंसिडेंस में जो वर्क कर रहे हैं C1, C2 and C3, they can measure the number of, pions. That will be n naught. और C4 आपको जो नंबर देगा वो that will be n. And n will always be less than n naught. Why? Because some of the pions will decay through this path from C3 to C4. So that's why n will be lesser than n naught, right? And we can measure this distance L. We can measure velocity of the pions, right? So measuring these values, we can, apply this formula. T will be then L over V. Length over velocity gives you the time. So putting the value of time, L over V, we get this formula. So all of these quantities are known except tau. So putting all these values, we will find the value of tau. Got it?